Hi there, it's me Yana. I'm an art stationery maker from Malaysia. Today I want to share with you how my day went as a guest speaker for a university. It's for a local university, and how I came upon this whole like opportunity was because my cousin sister-in-law, Miss Cher, she is the one that I think about 1.5 months ago invited me to become the guest speaker. Basically, it was not even an invitation at first. She just asked if I was okay with the idea of speaking in front of a bunch of students, and I was nervous. I was like, I had my brain running all in the, I would say in all directions it was running at, running in, running at, running on. I don't know. But it was definitely scrambled the moment she said I would like, which, no, what she said? She said, would you like to, would you be okay to be a guest speaker for my uni? And then I was like, say what now? And then I was having self-doubts, like always I have my self-doubts. But then Luke, my husband, he said, when I told him about it, even without blinking, like it wasn't probably even a second, he didn't even like digest properly what did I just tell him. He immediately heard me, guest speaker, uni, yes, go for it. And I was like, dude, at least give it some deeper thought, like my whole personality and stuff like that, like how introverted I am. I know, I understand, through videos, through live streams, it does not look like it, but ever since COVID, I've been more introverted, that's for sure. Like crowds scare me. I'm just good at generating a whole bunch of energy as much as I need to fuel for the events that I'm running in public spaces or in live streams. And then after that I got dead silent. So I was like, at least think about it a little bit more. And it's like, no, you have the potential, and I've seen you, he said, I've seen you share your thought processes, and also educate or share tips and tricks when I'm doing art on my live streams. And then he said, you can do this. I was like, okay, fine, coming from a trainer himself. So I was like, okay. And then I told her, yeah, I'm up for it. And I told her my big boss, which is Luke, says go for it. And I was like, okay. And then she gave me a date. To be honest, I really, really, really got mixed up with the month, because in my head I was thinking that it was in April. So 10 days before the event, Cher contacted me, and Cher said, because she needed to prep stuff on her end for the event. So she was asking me to how do I address you, what's your qualifications, what's your profession in some sort of way, what do you major in, and stuff like that, your accomplishments, just briefly. And then as I was preparing those things for her, that's when it started to sink in a bit more, shit, I only have 10 days before this event. I haven't done the slides, I haven't done any research, no nothing. And I was like, oh my goodness, Yana. Which is why I feel I think every single time, I don't even know why I don't do it, because I feel every time when I apply for something, I should put up the date somewhere big in front of my head. I probably should start sticking sticky notes at the back there, just to show that, yeah, you have things going on these dates. And yeah, anyways, so I tried my best to prep as much as I could. So what was required of me was a worksheet, because I was supposed to conduct a quick workshop right after the talk. And I also prepared presentation slides according to what they wanted to know more from me. And all this I could have done a behind the scenes video, like recording all this process. However, my mood was so in a slump. I think because I was really nervous that every time I thought about it, like having to speak to people, I think it just made my mood really like rocky. And the only time I got mood to work on it or to progress, like make some progress in preparations for it, was literally when I was in my home clothes. And when I say home clothes, this is a bit TMI, but it's just the outerwear. So I can't. It's not right. It's not right to film myself in that condition. And I think as messy as my head was and my emotion was when I was like just having the mere thought of having to talk and present, my room was also equally messy. And I can drag y'all through mess, but I don't want to keep showing up as a messy person. I really don't want to, because that actually helps me to not be messy. So just the past 10 days was just a turmoil internally and externally. But anyways, so I don't have any behind the scenes, but I will show you here like the PowerPoint presentation that I prepared and also what the worksheet looked like. But I would say that one of the things that I learned, that after the whole session, Cher actually shared with me that she said this is actually the fastest their students have ever like come up with something. And that actually meant that I did a good job. To be honest, I didn't realize I was doing a good job until Cher had to point out. I said, you actually did a good job in inspiring them, like within that half an hour. Within that half an hour. And then I was like, really? I said, yeah, because normally if there wasn't like prompts or guides, they could sit there for literally like the whole class and still not come up with an idea as fast as they wanted to. But I guess because I was already leading the whole presentation with the whole identity thing, because as I was sharing my whole like journey as an digital illustrator and also an live content creator, I was sharing, I think 1/3 of my slide or maybe slightly more, shared a lot, like heavily talked about finding your identity, because finding your identity in your art helps you to kind of do like auto marketing and branding for you. So I was like heavily emphasizing on that part, and probably that part kind of like sinked in deep. At least it got through them, because I understand, because prior to this, when I was a student myself like 2 decades ago, I would find myself like the topic is super simple, but I would find myself like really thinking long and hard on how to make that certain something that I was supposed to make. So I guess having the right prompts to guide them, like in the worksheet that I prepare, like having those prompts like to guide them to create something fast, because you're not supposed to like overthink it. And yeah, to see them like come up with so many like design characters like that fast. I'll leave some of the pictures here. It's so cool to see. And I think I would say that was already like positive in itself. But I would say the thing that made me realize my potential, not as like a lecturer or a guest speaker, not anything of the sort, but just my potential in a general sense, was when I requested Cher to share her honest thought and review about my performance as a guest speaker to Luke. And she actually sent a really long message. I'll leave it here. And her review like how she saw me, how the other lecturers saw me, and how the students saw me, I felt like I finally could see the potential in myself. Through a third person's point of view, I finally could understand what actually people see in me, because there's a lot of times that we always have self-doubt. So having someone like really just be honest and break it down to you, that one really like opened my eyes, and I realized that I can be so much more if I wanted to. So yeah, so definitely reading her message the first time got me teary, and then I actually passed that message to my sister as well, and then my sister was saying that she felt so proud because she also felt like my late mom and dad was beside her reading that text message like together with her, and she also felt like she felt proud, but she also felt comforted by that whole text. And she said it feels really it feels really good to see from another person's point of view of how good of or how great I can be, like how great her sister can be. And I don't know, just hearing those words from her also got me teary. And then yeah, so it all in all, it was a really good experience, and I know I was a nervous wreck the whole entire time, but thanks to Mr. Husni, I don't know whether he's going to be following this channel, whether he's going to see this or not, but thanks to Mr. Husni, because we had a lot of, like, we were talking to each other a lot before, like, while I was prepping my pop-up booth, and while I was, like, just getting ready for the presentation, we talked a lot, and talking to him kind of helped with the whole rolling the ball vibe with the talking, with the whole endless yapping. Like, it helped me to release the tension, and thanks to that I was actually able to, like, even though I was holding the mic right after that, it felt okay, because it felt like I was just like continuing the talk that I had with him, but just with few more different people. And I would say the fun part of it all was after the talk. After the talk, there was some students who approached me and stuff like that, but I think I also resonated with some of the lecturers there, because I think some of the lecturers, that's their stable job, that's their stable income, but they always probably wanted to try something on the side. And it was interesting to know that they are also just as afraid as their students to like try something new, because it's not easy. To be very honest, it's not easy to run your passion as a full-time business. It's not easy. There's so much of risk involved. Like, you can make it big, but you can also go down to flat zero, you know? So it's a big risk, and I'm blessed that I have my husband to support me, and I have the community to support me and keep pushing me to try and not give up. Trust me, there's so many times that I wanted to give up, because it makes me happy to make art, but when it comes down to it, you need money to survive in this world. You can't eat your art. To stay alive, you need to make money. So there's a lot of times where I felt like, is it worth it that I'm putting in this much effort? There's always the doubt there, but because of the community, my husband and my family like really supporting me and like not letting me give up on this dream, I'm able to push myself this far. And yeah, so talking, I don't know where was this whole beginning point was, but but it definitely made me realize, like, this whole experience as a guest speaker made me realize the true potential that I have, and I need to do something about it. You know, I need to grow. I need to leverage on all of these different experiences, like from running a workshop to doing live stream, like giving pointers, tricks and tips to people, and you know, just leverage on all of this potential, you know, basically. Essentially. But yeah, once again, I'm really sorry that I didn't have any pictures to show like the behind the scenes of how I not only had to prep for the slide and also make the worksheet, but also restock some of the items, because I know the main event is not to sell my products, but is to display my products in a way that it solidifies my speech, because I was talking about the whole identity stuff. So my booth now it definitely has its own identity, and people who goes to the same event where I normally do my pop-ups at, they now try to find the booth like just the visual of the booth, they spot it even from it's an extent it's an expression, but from a mile away they can spot it. And I think that's all part of like the whole brand identity and marketing thing. So I needed a solid, like a real life proof that that's what I'm doing as well. So setting up a booth was necessary. And of course, when you set up a booth, you also need to make sure you have merch, but there was a few merch that actually already finished, or it was close to finishing, so I had to make sure I restocked just enough. So there was a lot of behind the scenes for that, but there was a lot of prep behind the scenes, but I don't have those clips. So I truly do apologize, but I hope nonetheless you can be proud of me for what I've achieved so far. But in all honesty, I would like to know your honest thoughts about me, my art. If you are willing to, if you're okay to share those thoughts, please do leave them in the comment section below. It's not to feed my ego, it's not that, but I'll be honest with you guys, I think everybody feels it, that you have a lot of self-doubt, like I mentioned just now, and sometimes you need to see it from another perspective to actually realize, actually that's the potential that I have. And I just want to know what else do you see in me, and I would like to make that work for me. I would like to make that motivate me to do more, so that I can give more of me and my art to you guys as well. So yeah, I think that will be all for this chatty video. I probably should have a series just labeled as chatty videos, so that you know when it's a chatty video and when it's a productive one. But yeah, that should be about it. Next, I will be preparing for my shop update. Initially, I wanted to set the shop update to 20th of March, but I realized that the date will be clashing with the Raya celebration, which also means there'll be less potential buyers because everybody will be in holiday mode. So I decided to push it 1 week after that, which is the 28th of March, which works perfectly because then I will have a good 10 to 14 days to prep videos on how I market, or how I do like the awareness campaign that the shop update is happening. So it's kind of an inception kind of video, because it's going to be me talking about how do I say this? Like, how do I put this? Like, it's a marketing video about how I market my shop update. So that video itself is like part of the marketing for the shop update. So it's just like a bunch of ways that I'm trying out. I'll be most likely posting most of it on Instagram, so do keep an eye out for that one. Like, it's marketing within marketing. Yeah. Anyways, that one will be an interesting video for me to approach, because while I'm doing that, I also need to like hustle and finish up the products, because I'm a little bit behind schedule, not a little bit, actually quite a lot behind schedule already. So I just need to like pick and choose which one I can like run through them as fast as I can. And hopefully there's a lot to share during the shop update, but you will know that in the next video. So yeah, till then, take care, you guys. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye bye. Mwah.